Well, it's important when we think about mobility that we understand the drivers behind why people use public transport. And really, public transport is about connecting people socially, it's connecting people to economic opportunities, it's helping people get into, whether it be medical appointments or cultural gatherings. And the challenge we've got is connecting people not only between modes, but also connecting people intra-mode. And that means helping people get through a journey from end to end. And that might be from walking, catching a bus, could be cycling, catching rail. So there's a complexity to journeys, and it's important that when we create a seamless journey, we understand each single part of a trip that a user makes. And that's a challenge for transit agencies. With technology these days, helping people to understand their journeys and the seamless trip that they have can actually be quite complicated. So I think it's important for us that we understand why users are on our network and how they interact from the beginning right through to the last mile.
I believe that passengers are looking at four things. They look at seamless travel, seamless journeys. So they want to be able to go from origin to destination in a very simple manner. It can be with different modes, but in a simple manner. The second element, they want safe. They want safety, they want to be sure that it's safe, that nothing happens. It has to be on time. That's the third element, because it's very important and part of the passenger experience. And the fourth one for me is the fact that they want to be useful time as well. So they want to be sure that this travel time is not a lost time. It's a time where they can do something, they can rest, they can take advantage, they can read a book, they can watch a movie, and that's very important.
We think the main characteristics a metro system needs to have is predictability, reliability, and it needs to be the customer, he needs to feel himself at home at the metro. We want the metro to be an extension of our customer's home, because we understand we're part of his daily life, his routine, and we need it to be as easy and as pleasant of an experience as possible.
We cannot assume that we know what the customer wants. We have to constantly listen to our users and see what they are saying.
In fact, it's the lacking of humanity, because with technology you can inform them with the machine, with the technology is being very far, but we forgot the human point. So they are lacking to talk to somebody while they go in our station, in the metro. They need to have that contact with our people, with our employees at STM. So we need to make sure that we just not transport things. We are transporting people. So you need to more get humanized a little bit. So that's what they are. That the friction point with our clientele, I think it's that we need to be more human with them.
We've been doing a concerted training program for all 25,000 bus drivers in London. The first time for several decades they haven't had a consistent training program, because the bus drivers are actually employed by various operating companies, but we brought them all together for one concerted training program called Hello London, and it's about putting a human face back on the bus driver, ensuring that they welcome people when they get on their vehicle, that they make announcements through the public address system, that they just engage a bit more with those who they're carrying around our city. We also do a lot of training, and have done a lot of training with our underground staff. Every single underground station has a member of staff there while the trains are running. That's very important to us, because even the best technology and the best camera system and the best public address system remotely operated from the control room, I don't believe replaces the human interaction that even in the modern era and even in a great big city like London, people really, really like to have that interaction.
Customer centricity doesn't just end with one particular element or one particular project or one particular product or even one particular service. It is a continuum, it's a continuation of activities over the course of time that enhances the convenience for our customers.
Is the top management and all managers, they have to go the way they talk. So it's not only talking. So we have to give our examples. Our operation director, he very often goes to the plant, goes to the warehouse, goes to the repair shop, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, to show that he's present, and the work of everyone in the company is important so that we can deliver better service. So we have almost 1,000 employees, 993 employees, and management has to give the example. So we have these actions from the general management. We have programs like, for example, coffee with the president, with the CEO. So once a month I go down to any one of the stations and invite people from our staff to talk to me, to have a coffee and to discuss any questions they have. So we think that if you invest in people, you have to motivate people to listen to the users, and they have to feel empowered to take decisions that they think will help us to provide a better job.
What happens is that we've decided to not only have the KPIs, of course, for the customer experience function, but it's not enough. It's not enough because we need the functions for operation, for infrastructure, for rolling stock, meaning all the functions, the key functions of the organization, to have KPIs that are linked directly or indirectly to passenger service. And today I can say that all those key functions, including the technical ones, have strong KPIs to deliver the best service to the community.
So every year we receive 500,000 customers' opinion. We call it customer's voice. Then afterwards, we analyze all the customers' voice, opinions and complaints, and make it much more intelligent. And we iterate it for the management, especially improvement. So our staff member working in the station, our driver and conductors working on the train, is always try to collect the customer's voice like this. And they send the result or voice of the customers to the branch offices. We have 12 branch offices. And we have a very special organization in branch offices. General customer service department, and also we have the very big department for customer services in the headquarters. So they analyze it and they made it a very intelligent information, and they distribute again to the actual field, and everybody is improving, utilizing this kind of customer voice. So we call it this attitude is very positive, but this is maybe called a defensive marketing by the complaint management. I made it. I called it 30 years ago.
We also have what we call the PTV community, and that's about 1,000 people who provide us with feedback around any new initiatives that we might be implementing. So it's important to get feedback before you make changes and not wait until you've implemented something that may go wrong. So using the community allows us to touch base with people's thinking before we implement change on the network.
In 2013, we installed a customer board. In German, it's called Kundenrat. And this customer board is a representative plenum of BVG passengers and currently consists out of 16 women and 14 men. We use them as advisors and sounding board for topics regarding the improvement of our passenger information, development of new app features, requirements on future vehicles, and technical innovations.
It is also, on top of that, being agile to change. Change is happening all around us. Change is happening all around the world. It is very important that we, all the 43,000 people in MTR, all our colleagues, are agile and resilient to change, but at the same time move with those changes and enhance service for our customers based on whatever changes are happening in their domestic markets.
For digitalization, it is not just about the Wi-Fi and the wireless connectivity. It is also how we can incorporate that into how we can innovate the plans for our infrastructure. For example, one of our LRT line, and for a new line that we are planning to roll out this year, we have also incorporated the LTE technology, where it will provide better coverage in terms of how we can improve the utilization of the systems that we can incorporate, so that it will provide better opportunities and convenience to the commuters. And this is also about attracting future users to use the system, where the younger generation, we call it the Gen Y or Gen Z, this group of people, they like very much to be attached to their devices, and having this technology to be incorporated in public transport will help encourage more of the younger generation to start to use public transport.
LTA, as with many of the other government agencies in Singapore, we adopt a very open mind, open culture, so we're constantly learning. So we don't just learn from other governments or other similar government agencies in terms of how to improve customer services or how to improve business processes, but we are actually also constantly looking at how best practices are embarked on in the commercial and the industry. And this is actually a general mindset that the Singapore government has. And so you find that many of the best practices, many of the best improvements that we actually adopt would have come from government comparisons with other jurisdictions, as well as with the private sector. And we hope that through this we can continually improve and provide better services to the public.